already. I think it will happen quickly. I think Mr. Carney wants to avoid scrutiny. He wants to run during a honeymoon, and the legacy media to protect him from any kind of tough questions or scrutiny. Whether it is about the advice he gave Trudeau that tanked our economy over the last 5 years, whether it is about him moving his company headquarters to New York only a few months ago, when that's exactly what President Trump wants, whether it's about him opposing Canadian pipelines while buying pipelines in the Middle East, or opposing Canadian energy while investing in American coal. Those are all highly hypocritical things that Mark Carney does not want explored. And so I think he'll want a quick election to avoid any scrutiny. I think it is important we do get a quick election, but let's not mistake the real reason why Carney wants that. It is to avoid any scrutiny and to have the Liberal establishment, the Liberal media, basically rubber stamp him as Prime Minister so that he can go on carrying out the same policies that have destroyed our economy, doubled our debt and housing costs after 9 years of the Liberals.
Well, you mentioned the legacy media, the liberal media. Does it concern you going into an election that you've been outspoken? You said that you were going to defund the CBC. I believe that you said that you're going to remove the $600 million newspaper fund that Trudeau created to fund the legacy newspapers as well. Does that concern you that the media is just not going to give you a fair shake?
Well, the traditional mainstream media has always been totally liberal. I mean, there's a few exceptions, but by and large, they will just regurgitate whatever the Carney-Trudeau Liberals say. And in all of the last 6 or 7 elections, they have campaigned almost openly for the Liberals. So I would not expect it to be any different this time.
And so just to clarify, would you get rid of that $600 million newspaper fund that Trudeau gave to newspapers?
We are going to be cutting back on that. You'll have to wait for our platform to get the details.
Okay, because
we have to depoliticize news media finance, because right now what happens is that there are subsidies that go to favored media outlets that CRA designates. And then there's not funding for others. So, and then of course the worst example is CBC, which gets this enormous subsidy to do largely what Canadians can get elsewhere. Canadians can get digital media, videographical media, anywhere else, and yet they're paying $1 billion+ for CBC to do that. So I think those are examples of where we need to cut, and we need to defund the CBC and have an independent, self-supporting media that can keep Canadians informed.
Well, there is a growing ecosystem of independent creators, independent journalists, citizen journalists that you see popping up all over social media. And so I wonder, if you form government, the Parliamentary Press Gallery is like an insiders group. They don't want to give access to people who don't work for legacy media. What would your policy be around allowing access to your government or to you personally for independent media?
Absolutely. I think their independent media should be allowed on the precinct. There's no reason why it should be a small cabal of government-approved mouthpieces. It is highly undemocratic. I've always believed that. And it's been particularly difficult for me because it means that only when I go and hold a press conference, it's just Liberal media who are there to attend. And it's, but practically speaking, I'm in the precinct, I'm on Parliament Hill, I have to hold a press conference to get my message out. I would love to see a scenario where every different kind of journalist from all backgrounds, of all opinions, is given a chance to report on what happens on the Hill.